Hey there, FPL managers. Welcome back to FPL Buds, the place where I break down your fantasy Premier League journey. I'm your host, Mr. Goat, and I'm thrilled to have you here as I dive deep into the Game Week 7 strategies. I've got an action-packed show for you today, covering the essential buy, keep, and sell options, the all-important captaincy pick, and of course some smart team selection tips. So let's get started. In this segment, I will be talking about potential buy, keep, and sell options for Game Week 7. Now let's start by talking about some players to buy in upcoming game week. First on my list I have Newcastle United centre-back Sven Botman. He is always rock solid at the back and is a threat on set pieces. Priced at 4.7 million, he is a great pick, as Newcastle have an excellent run of fixtures coming up. You can expect many clean sheets in the coming game weeks for Newcastle, and Botman will surely rack up clean sheet points and get a few attacking returns. The next player I recommend to buy next week is West Ham United's Jarrod Bowen. Bowen has played 6 games this season and has contributed 4 goals and 1 assist in those 6 games. He has an expected goal involvement of 0.58 so far. West Ham have been in phenomenal form this season, scoring at least a goal in every game. West Ham play Sheffield United at home next, which is a great fixture for Bowen. Bowen is owned by 10% manager, making him an exciting differential pick too. Bowen was rested in the midweek EFL Cup fixture against Lincoln City, making him an appealing option as he will be well rested and ready to go in the weekend. Now let's focus on players that you should keep in your team if you currently have them in your team. First player to hold is Brentford's Bryan Mbeumo. Although Brentford were disappointing last game week against Everton, they play Nottingham Forest in the upcoming game week. Holding on to Mbeumo is a sensible idea, as Brentford will be looking to bounce back from the disappointing game last week. Mbeumo is still the penalty taker for Brentford and could easily get a couple of goals and assists against Nottingham Forest. Another player to hold this week is Brighton's left-back, Pervis Estupiñán. Estupiñán is an outstanding pick in the defence. One thing I like to remind myself every now and then is don't try to fix things that are not broken. Estupiñán plays Liverpool and City in game week 8 and 9. I agree these fixtures do not indicate clean sheets, but he is not in my team for clean sheets. He is there to get attacking returns, which he did last game week. I think he could reward managers who keep faith in him in these tough fixtures. He plays Aston Villa next week, who play a high line in defence. Brighton will be looking to exploit this high line as much as possible. This could mean double-digit haul for Estupiñán. Now let's look at some players to sell before the Game Week 7 deadline. Spoiler alert, this will be Chelsea heavy. First player on my sell list is Malo Gusto. Gusto received a red card last game week. He will be missing a couple of games in the Premier League. Chelsea have been terrible so far, even with a decent fixture against Fulham and Burnley. I do not see them winning those games. There is no point in keeping hold of Gusto, selling him for a defender from Newcastle United. If you can afford it, would be a great choice. Next up, we have another disappointing Chelsea defender. Chilwell was benched 2 weeks in a row, making him a very frustrating asset. Even when he came on last week, he missed a few chances. Overall, selling your Chelsea assets is a good idea, as they seem to have forgotten how to score goals with 0 goals in the last 3 Premier League games. Chilwell started the midweek cup game but was taken out at the end due to a hamstring injury. This just makes the decision to sell him easier. Moving on, we will be looking at some of the standout captaincy choices for Game Week 7. There is no surprise that Erling Haaland will be the most captained player in Game Week 7, but I will be presenting you with 3 differential captaincy picks who could match or beat Haaland's output this game week. My first differential captain for Game Week 7 is Jarrod Bowen. At the moment, Jarrod Bowen is the main man for West Ham United. This week he plays against a Sheffield United side who are low on confidence after the 8-0 thrashing last game week. Even though Bowen has not matched his output from last season, he has been ticking along nicely and is due a double-digit haul, and I believe this week could be a big one for Bowen. For my second captain pick, I have Wilson from Newcastle United. Wilson has been starting in the Premier League games ahead of Isak, and is always involved in the final third for an attacking Newcastle side. Newcastle are in top form as they thrashed Sheffield United last week and won against Manchester City in the midweek EFL game. Wilson also takes penalty kicks for Newcastle United, boosting his chances for more FPL points. However, there are rumours that Wilson has a hamstring issue, so please keep an eye out for Eddie Howe's press conference. My third captaincy option is Carlton Morris. He will be captained by many managers this week, as he faces Everton and Burnley in a double game week for Luton Town. He scored a goal last game week, earning him a solid 9 points and making his case even more stronger as a captaincy pick for his double game week. If Morris avoids any bookings in the 2 games, it's a guaranteed 4 points for him. Now let's look at the current state of my team before the game week 7 deadline. This week I have 2 transfers remaining and a few major issues to deal with. My first issue is Malo Gusto, who is out until October 21st and will miss 3 Premier League games for Chelsea. Another issue in my team is the untimely injury to Bukayo Saka, who could potentially miss his tasty fixture against Bournemouth in game week 7. Maddison is also yellow, flagged with a knee injury concern, but I'm hopeful of his recovery for the Liverpool game. This week, I'm planning to wait closer to the deadline to make my transfers depending on the news regarding some of the injured players in my team, and also news about some of the players I'm looking to bring in as a replacement. I will now be discussing some potential transfers I could make depending on different scenarios. In my defence, I'm looking to sell Malo Gusto for a Newcastle defender. I have a few options to choose from in the Newcastle defence depending on Eddie Howe's press conference on Friday. I could go for either Botman, Shah, or Trippier. To fund this transfer, I will be downgrading Bukayo Saka to a West Ham United midfielder. I'm looking at both Bowen and Ward-Prowse as potential midfield picks for my team, as Saka has an injury and is doubtful for game week 7. He also plays Manchester City in game week 8. I will be looking to move him on until my wildcard. However, there is another scenario where Saka could be passed fit to start the Bournemouth game. In this case, I will be holding Saka in my team, and Lord knows what transfers I will be making, as I will have a budget constraints to deal with. So overall, it will definitely be interesting as more news comes out closer to the game week 7 deadline. That's a wrap for this week's FPL Buds episode, folks. I hope you enjoyed our in-depth analysis and found the buy, keep, sell, captaincy pick and team selection advice valuable for game week 7. Remember to hit that like button if you found my content helpful, subscribe for more FPL insights, and don't forget to ring that notification bell so you never miss an update from your FPL Buds family. If you have any questions or need further advice, feel free to drop them in the comments below. And as always, may your arrows be green and your transfers be on point. I'm Mr. Goat, signing off for now. Cheers, and let's conquer game week 7 together. See you in the next episode.